entering the gardens. You'll pass by artificial ponds, reclining river god statues, cookie-cutter patterns of hedges, and cone-shaped trees. Versailles' sculpted gardens were not just pretty, they symbolized the authority of France's king. Louis XIV was a divine right ruler. One way he proved it was by controlling nature, like a god. These lavish grounds, elaborately planned out, pruned and decorated, showed everyone that Louis was in total command. Louis loved his gardens and, until his last days, presided over their care. He personally escorted VIPs around the grounds and threw his biggest parties right here. With the Greco-Roman themes and their incomparable beauty, the gardens further illustrated the king's immense power. This, to me, is the most stunning spot in all of Versailles. With the palace behind you, the grounds stretch out, it seems, forever. Versailles was laid out along an 8-mile axis that includes the grounds, the palace, and the town of Versailles itself. It's one of the first instances of urban planning since Roman times. In fact, it served as a model for future capitals, like Washington, D.C. Looking down the Royal Drive, you see the round Apollo Fountain far in the distance. Just beyond that is the Grand Canal. The groves on either side of the Royal Drive were planted with trees from all over. It's all laid out in an elaborate grid and dotted with statues and fountains. Of the original 1,500 fountains, 300 remain. Look back at the palace. You can see the Hall of Mirrors. It's the middle story with the arched windows. The Latona Basin. The fountain has a wedding cake-looking structure in the center that's dotted with statues. Ringing the base are turtles with gaping mouths. On other levels are more turtles, nymphs, frogs, and lizards. On top stands a lady, and that's where the fountain's symbolic story begins. This round fountain tells the story of the birth of Apollo, another sun king on par with Louis XIV. On top of the fountain are Apollo and his sister, Diana, as little kids with their mother, Latona. They're facing toward the Apollo fountain. Latona, an unwed mother, was insulted by the local peasants. She called on the king of the gods, Zeus, that's her children's father, to avenge the insult. Zeus swooped down and turned the peasants into all the little frogs and lizards you see ringing the fountain today. The Colonnade. This classical-looking structure lies just off the Royal Drive on the left-hand side. You'll spot it from the Royal Drive when you reach the path that leads to it. Walk there.
Do I have to?
Yeah, it's interesting. The colonnade is a circle of 64 red marble columns about 100 feet wide. The columns support pure white arches. Versailles had no prestigious ancient ruins. No problem. The king built his own, a prefab Roman ruin. The Apollo Fountain, also known as the Apollo Basin. The huge fountain depicts the god Apollo. Or is it the Sun King, Louis XIV?
Just beyond the Apollo Basin, you can see another body of water.
A huge body of water stretching as far as the eye can see.
This is the Grand Canal, modeled after the famous waterway in Venice.
Why visit Venice when you can just build your own? In an era before virtual reality, this was the next best thing to an actual trip. Couples and gondolas would pull along the water accompanied by barges with orchestras playing O Solo Mio. Originally, actual gondoliers imported with their boats from Venice lived in a little settlement just next to the canal.
Merci.
Au revoir.
And bon voyage.